Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to live coverage. Oh, this is exciting. Welcome to live coverage of the Byron Tigers track and field. This is our first ever live stream. No one's here yet, but I'm here, and you might be watching this a little bit later. We're just giddy. We're excited. Welcome to Byron Tigers Live here on YouTube, as we'll bring you live coverage of your favorite Byron Tiger sporting events and activities. It is 4:29, and the meet officially begins at 4:30. It's just me for right now. I'll be joined by a camera operator here in a little bit who has some other things to do for the time being. And I am excited to get things going. Welcome in. I'm going to put my headset down for just a minute. We'll see if we can't kind of get a little bit of a better view of some of these field events. And we'll explain everything about the meet. But for the time being, before I put the mic down, we are here in Byron at the PE Center. The field events will begin at 4:30, any minute now, with running to follow at 5. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll keep the stream on. I'll put the headset down, and we'll rejoin you in just a minute. Welcome to the broadcast, folks. Final call for all field events. Final call for all field events. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live here in Byron. Meet time is officially 4:31, and the field events are scheduled to begin promptly at 4:30. So we'll do our best. It's just me for now. Eventually, we'd love to have a team of people helping out. In particular, the vision is to have students running the show, production, even the on-air broadcast, which is my job today. But we'll see if we can't catch a little of everything. And grandmas and grandpas, people around the country listening in, we'll try to announce all the names of the participants during the broadcast as well. We'll have a little fun with it. Our number one job today is support these athletes. What I've got the camera trained on right now is the long jump. That's the north pit here in the Byron PE Center. Center court will have the high jump. Looks like they're taking some preliminary jumps as we speak. The south pit, we have the triple jump. And then down at the very south side of the PE Center, we actually have pole vault, so lots going on. I see that we have a few people listening in. We're glad to have you along. All right, I'm going to put the headset down, and I've moved the camera, but I'll put the headset down for a moment, and I'm going to readjust the camera, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep the stream going. We'll adjust the camera, see if we can't kind of hone in on some of the events that are going on. We'll be back in just a minute. All right, logistically, broadcasting a track meet, I mean, if this was ESPN, right, I think they'd have it covered with several camera operators and on-air talent. Shoot, maybe even Snoop Dogg would be there. Bear with us, too, as we will undoubtedly deal with a few tech glitches here and there. Just check to see that they lost the stream, but it's back. This is a free service. I don't know if that helps for those of you watching, but we plan to grow this program as time goes on. For now, we believe that we can provide something pretty cool for grandmas and grandpas and Tigers supporters, and of course, spread the word. And as I was mentioning a minute ago, we do have a chat feature, and I'd love to hear from you, who you are, who you're supporting today, where you're watching from. We have some flexibility that you don't get with a legacy broadcast, right? You don't necessarily get to call into NBC or CBS and say, hey, give me a different view. But I can do that today. So, especially for this first part here, the first half hour or so of this broadcast will be the field events. And you are very welcome to go into the chat and say, hey, I'd love to watch my granddaughter in the triple jump or my grandson do the long jump. We'll do the best we can. All right. Somebody texted me and said the Nets are going to block the front stretch. We understand that. We're up here. It's called the Crow's Nest here in the PE Center. And it will be a little bit of a frustration later on, especially in lanes 5, 6, 7, or 8. The nice thing is, as the meet progresses, we'll have a very good view of lanes 1, 2, 3, and 4, most of 5. But this is a multi-purpose PE center. The boys' baseball team was in here with the cages down earlier, taking some swings. And I was outside myself not long ago, and the weather was absolutely gorgeous. So baseball, I believe softball. Making their way outside. Like I said, put it in the chat if you'd like me to move the camera around a little bit. We've got lots of things going on. In fact, you can see there's a lot of people waiting their turn for that long jump. So this is kind of the best angle that I can come up with for the time being. Certainly you can see the high jumpers there, kind of out at center court. But to the right of your screen are people waiting to long jump. There goes somebody. Oh, I think that's a Byron athlete. We'll get you some names here in just a minute. And then, so people running to the right are long jumping in the north pit. People running to the left are triple jumping into that south pit. And there at the middle of your screen, there's an athlete. They make their preliminary jumps here. We're high jumping. Here are the participants today for the girls' high jump. Watch for and listen for from North Boone. That would be Poplar Grove. It's Aaliyah Kraut. Winnebago's Cameron Dykstra, 2 freshmen, by the way. A sophomore from Byron is Kaylee Coyne. Winnebago, a senior, Brooke Clairbout. Genoa Kingston, a junior, it's Haley Dunn. Remember, we'll announce the names. We'll do our best to try to make a little sense of who's who. But unlike football, basketball, baseball, no jersey numbers, right? So we'll try to do our best. Of course, the judges and the people operating each station down there are keeping careful track and try to bring you some of the, I believe that was Coyne of Byron. Try to bring you some of the results. And I'll give you where you can check the results yourself in just a little bit. Nora Britt, a sophomore from Bago. Here's another freshman, several freshmen here, 4 of them total in the girls' varsity high jump. From Lay Win, it's Marley McPeak. Stillman Valley, a sophomore, Jesse Hageman. Also from Lay Win, another freshman, Brooklyn Kaiser. And then rounding out our field of 12, 3 seniors, all listed, by the way, in the notes as having the highest jumps. Nev Schilling of Byron is senior. Stillman Valley's Sandra Broderson, and then Genoa Kingston's Addison Vickery. All the way down the south side of this PE center is girls pole vault. I'll let the camera scan around here in a minute, but 4 participants for the girls. In fact, 4 for the boys as well. Byron has 2 athletes. Winnebago has 5 total and 1 lone pole vaulter from North Boone. Representing the girls today are 3 sophomores and 1 senior. The sophomore from Byron is Elena Brandt. We've got 2 Meekums from Winnebago, also sophomores, Mason and Audra Meekum of Winnebago. And then the senior is Ava Haynes. Those are our 4 pole vaulters down there on the far south side of the PE center. Boys will feature Manuel de la Luz of Poplar Grove, North Boone, a freshman, a sophomore from Bago, and a senior from Bago. The sophomore is Andrew Dimke. The senior is Blake Inglema. And I'm glad I know this young man because I'm not sure his name would be easily pronounced otherwise, but it's Byron's very own junior, Xander Weigert. I got the girls' high jumpers. A little bit later, we'll see the likes of Blaze Brown of Winnebago, Reagan Korst, and Caleb Lyons of North Boone, Laywin's Noah Kepner, GK's Kenneth Combs, Eli Freeman of Bago, and then 3 Byron Tiger athletes, including 2 freshmen, Landon Bonvalet and Evan Northrup, and then the senior, the big man, Jack Potter. Those of you tuning in and hoping to see some running, well, we'll get there. It's 4:44, and the running events are scheduled to start right at about 5 o'clock. In your screen, by the way, you can see Nev Schilling. Kind of getting limbered up, getting ready to go. Meanwhile, I believe a Bago athlete just jumped. Nev Schilling, Byron Sr., 2 Byrons in the field for girls varsity high jump. Schilling in coin. Nice jump there for Genoa Kingston. Winnebago athlete up next. Left side of your screen. Here she goes. Just a little kiss of the bar. I believe this is a Stillman Valley athlete, a Cardinal from Stillman. All right, let's pan a little bit to the right. Scan out just a little bit. So you can see the north curve here. And just beyond that, we've got the long jump and a host of athletes. We'll try to mention some of them in just a little bit. Down here we have triple jump. And earlier I was talking about the pole vault. I mean, so lots going on. It's all the way down there. Watch a little shot. We can improve our view just a little bit once running starts. And yeah, I did get a text that said, hey, we're going to be cut off a little bit by, there's the old baseball where they can drop that down and they can take their swings. The boys were in here earlier. The cage. But we'll be able to have a pretty good view of lanes 1 through 5. Of course, you'll be able to see lanes 6, 7, and 8, especially for those shorter sprints. Most of the rest, though, they'll be on those interior lanes. Meeting of the minds. Hey, I think that's Jim Kahn, former Byron coach and athletic director. Jim, unless you're in Arizona or something and you're watching, you think, I'm not there. No, that's Jimmy. Walters, Stewart. Man, it takes a lot of people to run these meets. All right. We lost the camera again for just a moment. Lots to talk about here during the broadcast. I mean, I'm not going to talk the whole time, but I'll talk on and off. But one thing I can tell you is that this being literally our first ever live stream, every time we come out, of course, first and foremost, we're here to support our Byron Tigers. They are the main characters, right? But I laugh for a moment because some of the guys have figured out that we are broadcasting and they're waving up to me. Well, yeah, I mean, the main characters are the kids, right? The athletes, the student athletes. But we are going to try our best each and every time out to up our game. And each time we come out to try to upgrade the tech. And that's where eventually we're going to be looking for some better equipment. This is not a plug, by the way, for I'm not going to share our PayPal or Venmo here on the broadcast. But we'd love to upgrade, have better equipment. Right now, we're a little bit on a budget. In fact, you know what the budget is? It's $0 right now. But hey, it's pretty cool that we're even able to do this. But yeah, over time, we'll upgrade the equipment. And I won't mention any names of people that have already chatted to me about loving to help out in various capacities. We still got some research to do too, right? So if I were to say this local business would love to come on board and sponsor, we'll get there. But we had to start somewhere, and that day is today. Logan, thank you for chiming in the chat. I see you down there, and I'm glad that you guys are excited that we're broadcasting live coverage of your meet. All right, as you can see in the screen, we have the high jump going on. It's interesting because, physiologically, kinesthetically, I mean, these young people, I won't tell you how old I am, but these young people, I had an old teacher, old coach used to say, oh, you guys are in your prime. You didn't realize it at the time, did you? But even these young athletes, their bodies will kind of acclimate, if you will, to, outside. And anyway, what I'm trying to say is that they'll loosen up, get a little bigger, faster, stronger as the season goes on, a little bit more flexible. And some of these times and distances and heights that they might struggle with here early in the season, they'll be able to easily blast past those a little bit later in the season. Ooh, they're already calling for the 4x800. That would be the 3,200 meter relay. They're going to combine them if possible. Hey, let me see if I can get a few more of these long jumpers. For the girls, Lei Wynn's Sandra Martins, Isabel Stolquist of Poplar Grove, two Genoa Kingston long jumpers, and Haley Dunn and Giselle Abonce. Brenna Hubbard, a freshman, Hubs, ninth grader from Byron. Another freshman from Lei Wynn is Evelyn Gable. And a sophomore from Lei Wynn, it's Addison Piper. And by the way, technically, I think the Lei Wynn team includes a couple of other schools. It's a consolidation, if you will, a co-op. Might even have Pearl City in there. But I'm calling them Lei Wynn for now, as that's how they're listed here in my notes. Poplar Grove, North Boone, it's Kylie Blazer, Brianna Edler of Lei Wynn, and Nikaya Shields of Bago. Rounding out our field here of long jumpers for the girls is Winnebago's Jocelyn Ditto, another freshman. Maddie Fritz, Byron sophomore Fritzy. Stillman Valley's Nellie Galambos. Winnebago's Ava Shoemate. A couple more Byron athletes. It's freshman Lucy Gura. And then Skylar Palmgren, the senior. Gwendolyn Baker of Stillman. Alexandria Hoff of Stillman. Ida Fager of Winnebago, and then Natasha Bianchi. Man, what an athlete. I've known of her for quite a long time as she's competed against some of my kids, namely my daughter in basketball. But Natasha looks like the athlete to beat today, as she's listed in our heat sheets, having jumped previously a 5.19 meters. Okay. Give you a little bit of a comparison among the boys. There are only 3 athletes out of 19 that have jumped a longer distance this season. So let's meet those boys now. Miles Smith of Bago, Nikolai Vasquez of Stillman Valley, Bryson Roush, a junior from Byron, Lay Wins, Bryson Franson, Poplar Grove North Boone's Isaac McMaster, Tyree Davis of Laywin, Jackson Barrett of Laywin, North Boone's Maximus Dunn. I hope he goes by Maximus. What a name. One of my favorite movies of all time. Gladiator, Maximus, a senior from North Boone, and then Bago's Noah Piercy. Flight 2 will include Aiden Hill of North Boone, Laywin's Cooper Knoop, Winnebago's Noah Moline, Kelvin Gable of Stillman Valley, Ben Denton, a senior of Byron. His long jump of the season, 4.75. Braden Dietrich, 4.82, a Byron sophomore. Liam Cast, a Winnebago sophomore. Liam Kedzie of Genoa Kingston, Hudson Pollock of Stillman, and then Camden Wright, the big man on campus among the long jumpers, a 5.29 meters earlier this season. Dale, I'm so glad that you're able to watch. Isn't this cool? I hope more schools decide to do this as well, because, you don't have to be a grandma or grandpa. You could be a mom or a dad that's just not able to work. People doing all sorts of jobs. You may be on business. Dale, so glad that you're able to join us, man. It's awesome. All right. We are getting set to start the running. So many people jammed into a PE center. Every time I kind of hold my breath a little bit that some random person doesn't accidentally just stroll out onto the track. Some little kid not paying attention. It could be any of us, right? It doesn't take much to be distracted these days. So there's our participants in lane 8. You can see them there waiting their turn. This is going to be the 3,200 meter relay. Each of the 4 athletes will run an 800. And these are the 4 that will begin. Yeah, get that hurdle out of there. I was just getting ready to call down there. Thank you, random citizen. All right. Okay, so this will be fun. We'll continue the field events, right? But we'll see if we can't make some sense of who's actually running in this first of the running events. This was the girls' 3,200 meter relay. Again, each of them will be running an 800. I've got the heat sheets. We'll look through. All right, there are 4 teams, as you can already see in your screen, lanes 1, 2, 3, and 4. Lena in lane 2. Excuse me, there's 2 lane win teams, lanes 1 and 2. One team, we'll call this Lena A, Lila Grindy, Lila Gerber, Cassidy Doherty, and Addison Piper, and they're off. Lena's B team, for what that's worth, right? Sometimes they're very close to each other, but you've got Lydia Lessman, Peyton Murphy, Allie Oxley, and Tana Gravert. Winnebago and Genoa Kingston field the other two teams. Winnebago, Araya Ingram, Mackenzie Zimmerman, Hannah Roggensack, and Emma Woolery, a senior. As you can see, the athletes coming around now. Winnebago and Lee Wynn kind of pacing the field, although they're very tight. GK's Alina Garcia, Jocelyn Abney, Madison McDowell, and Gracie Sapatka. By the way, I got to get Coach Erb. There's Stevens. Look at these guys. These guys are ready for spring break or what? And not only is it's Mustache March, and it's Hawaiian Shirt Day. I love it. All right, very tightly packed here as they go around that north curve. Again, this is the 4x800, the 3,200 meter relay. All right, so let's do some math, shall we? As again, very tightly packed here as they come around. Coach Erb of Winnebago calling out some encouragement to his Winnebago athlete. So we're indoor, right? Well, you can clearly see that we're indoors, but since we're indoor is really what I mean to say is it's a little bit different than the outdoor track, right? So one time around is 200 meters. So if we do the math, each one of these athletes will be running 4 times around the track, and they should be ready for that first handoff. Here we go. Lei Wynn pacing the field, followed closely by Winnebago. Lei Wynn and Genoa Kingston very tightly packed, not far behind. I mean, a matter of mere seconds. Lei Wynn, the A group, has a sizable advantage now coming around that south curve. And you can see opening up a pretty sizable lead. Very tightly packed. The athletes from Lei Wynn, Winnebago, and Genoa Kingston. Kind of keep it here. I feel like this will be one of our best angles. You can see him a little bit coming around that far side, but with so many bodies, what we really want to see is them coming around that south curve. We'll get a sense of who's in the lead. The two teams from Lei Wynn, as of right now, have the lead. We're talking about 4 seconds and then maybe 6 or 7 seconds for the runners from Winnebago and Genoa Kingston. I'm getting a camera operator up here in just a little bit after his duties are done working long jump, but I'm going to try to see if I can't get us a little bit of a better view here. Nothing we can do about that baseball cage, of course. It is what it is, as they say, right? Still pretty tight. Again, this is the opening event of the running. Comes another handoff. It's Lei Win handing it off. We'll count seconds together. I've got Lei Win A with about a 10-second lead, but not far behind Genoa Kingston now in third, and Winnebago in fourth. Winnebago known for their distance running. I mean, track and field and cross country. I bet Winnebago has a little bit more in the tank, but let's see what they can do. Meanwhile, Lei Win, look at this athlete, just cruising. Remember, drop a hello in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. We can give you a shout out. Look at these three athletes. And I was thinking that Bago might be able to make a move, and it looks like Hannah, I believe that's Hannah Roggensack there, making a move. Coaches have these Winnebago athletes early in the season even, clicking on all cylinders. Athlete just moved through your screen there. Lei Win in the lead of this 4x800 meter relay. Look at the pack now. This is the third, by the way, of four runners. Neck and neck. All right, there's that Lei Win athlete. Nice lead. Opened up the lead, in fact, sizably. You can see the other athletes coming in. Looks like Genoa Kingston's going to try to open things up a little bit. And the Winnebago athlete and the other team from Lei Win finishing up their third of four times around the track. All right, Lena will be the first to hand it off. Here comes Genoa Kingston in second. 3,200 meters. So 2 miles total for these four athletes. There goes Genoa Kingston. And the final handoff of the baton, Lei Win B and Winnebago. There goes Emma. We've known of her, right, for some time. If you're listening from Winnebago, plays against us in basketball, cross country, and here in track and field. All right, there goes GK. There will be 8 teams in the field, by the way, for the boys. Yep, here comes Emma making a move on, almost said LaSalle Peru. Excuse me, Lei Win. It was the Panthers that got me, right? And then I believe that leader for Lei Win. We'll hear the bell, right? Listen for that bell. Are they going to ring it? All right. There's the bell. One more lap to go for the leaders from Lena Winslow. There's the boys' field ready to go. We'll announce them in a moment. Here comes GK firmly in second. It's going to be a battle for third and fourth. Meet points on the line, right? Teams, by the way, trying to qualify with times for indoor state. And sorry about the camera work there. Lei Win has come in first. Genoa Kingston will finish in second place, and it's going to be a battle for third. We'll see him coming around in just a minute. GK in third. It's going to be Lei Win as for the time being in third. Here comes Winnebago. So Lena Winslow B in third, and then Winnebago in fourth. You can always check out the meet results, by the way, on athletic.net. As our first event for the running is over. Time for the boys. We have 8 different schools represented in the different lanes. I believe they're going to run them all together. They should. Let's see. Combined, if possible, it says here in my notes. Anyway, listen for Byron's A team. Comes in at the fastest time, at least on paper, right? But it's Mikey Hilliker, River Wygant, Connor Welt, and Michael Muzzarelli. We like to call him the mayor around here, Muzzy. Loves to see people, loves to talk to everybody. Stillman Valley, their A team, Evan Jones, Adam Mendoza, Ryan Lundquist, and Lucas Dalio. Yeah, I think they're going to double up these far lanes so they can all run together. 2 teams from Lei Win, Brady White, Hayden McNutt, Cooper Gilbertson, and Jack Jordan. Team B, if you will, although they both come in with the same time indicated, so only time will tell which of these 2 teams will come in before the other. But they include Jackson Barrett, Zayden Schoonhaven Hussein, Ian Geisman, and Cooper Knoop. Byron's B group includes August Martz, Logan Grove, Gavin Early, and Iñaki Paulino. GK, Kyle Gutknecht Sabin, Noah Turnquist, Aiden Hoots, and Quincy James. 2 teams from North Boone, Elijah Bryan, Byron Livedall, Carson Wheeler, and Ruben Ramirez. And Team 2, Miles Link, Michael Mastriani, Noah O'Donnell, and Nicholas Schnupp. This is now the boys' 3,200 meter relay. And there we go. It's early, right? I mean, this is a 2-mile run, but Looks like Stillman Valley is in the lead to start things out. Stillman Valley in the lead, but here come the challengers. It's Mikey Hilliker. Love it. He's got the orange headband. August Martz, representing the Tigers, comes into your picture and out of your picture. There goes Hilliker again. Stillman Valley with a commanding lead. Hey, I got to give a shout out to a guy that I've known since he was a youngster, and that's Matt McMullen, who's been doing an outstanding job at the helm of this Stillman Valley track and field program. And he's got his crew off to a commanding lead here early on. It takes a village, folks. Check this out. As you can see them making their handoffs. Look at this crew of people helping out. Current athletic director, Jeff Milburn, Jimmy Kahn. Got the athletic trainers and a host of people. Oh, there's Stewart. They're checking things and making sure the information will be uploaded to athletic.net. And of course, you can see our camera, which we obviously really don't need early in the meet. But when we run this 55 here in a little bit, that camera may prove absolutely necessary. Meanwhile, the boys' 3,200 meter relay. As of right now, nothing uploaded to athletic.net, but those of you who are in the know will be able to use your app and find out how the meet is going as far as how our athletes are actually doing. Ooh. Tell you what, I'm going to move my camera just a little bit as kind of at the right side of your screen as these boys are coming in, you know, with the 3,200 meter relay. Let's see if we can. Should be able to see a little bit of the high jumpers as well. Kind of on that right side of your screen. River Wygant just came in for Byron. Logan Grove handing it off to Gavin Early for Byron. Now you can see it. Now you can see that high jump just a little bit better over there, right side of your screen. Connor Welt, sporting that bleached hair. One of our great swimmers here with the Byron Co-op. Boys like to dye the hair as they approach postseason. Connor did a great job for the Tigers this swimming season. There goes Connor. Gavin Early for the Tigers. Around the curve there and out of your picture. This is just grueling. So those of us watching may be able to remember back in the day when we could run like this. Of course, if you're an athlete from another school watching or perhaps rewatching this meet, you're doing it now. But that 800, I mean, if you go out there and run a 400 or less, right, you can just about open her up. Maybe a little bit more nuance to the 400, but you know, if you're going to run a mile, you're going to pace yourself as Muzzarelli gets the baton from Connor Welt. That 800 is that middle distance that is, there's really an art form to it, isn't there? You can't really sprint. You can't hold back too much. There's real nuance to running an 800. As there goes Iñaki getting the baton from Gavin Early. There comes Muzzy, the mayor. You can see him entering your picture there, rounding that curve. There he goes. Michael Muzzarelli. We have had, throughout the broadcast, about 20 to 25 people streaming in. And I can't wait for the word to get out that we're doing this for track. And think about all the opportunities we'll have. Soccer, softball, baseball, and non-sport activities, right? I mean, we want to support everybody. But it's just exciting to think what we'll be able to do and how we'll be able to grow this platform. And again, the point of it all, to support the main characters, our Byron student athletes and activities. I want you to know that I did talk to our production staff, the directors, if you will, of our upcoming Byron musical, opening night this Thursday, by the way. But sadly, we can't live stream that due to licensing. So as much as I would love to be there opening night to broadcast live coverage of the spring musical, we've been told that we can't as Stillman Valley comes in. No, Lucas. In fact, Lucas swims with us as part of the Byron Co-op. That was Lucas Dalio. Here goes Muzzy. It's like Muzzy doesn't know if he has to keep going or not. I think you're done, Muzzy. Uh-oh. I mean, it's overstimulating just watching this, isn't it, from your screen? I'm telling you, if you were here in person, even more so. And if an athlete kind of loses track, or one of the staff trying to help out, if somebody loses track of how many laps you got to do, I can absolutely see it. But Muzzy came through and wasn't sure if he had to keep going, but I think he was done. Here comes Iñaki Paulino. And I think that's the field of 8 teams here in this 4x800. There's GK coming in. I'm looking out there to see if anybody's still on the track. And I think that's it. Okay. What's next? This will be the 3,200-meter run, 2 miles. Now, there's a debate for you. Why didn't we just go to the metric system? But I digress. I got it down right. I mean, if I say 400 meters or 800 meters, it's pretty easy to convert that to mileage, right? But some of the other distances, how about the heights? Somebody jumps 5.19 meters. I don't really know how to make sense of that. That's what Google on your phone is for, right? All right. This will be the 3,200-meter run. I believe they're going to combine it. It does appear to be the case. Let me pan the camera over just a little bit so we can at least get the start. All right, 3,200 meters. That's 2 miles. I believe it's 16 times around the track. And our field includes 4 young ladies: Emma James of GK, Grace Pena of GK. You can see him wearing blue there. Svea Glidden on the right for Winnebago, just to the right of those blue jerseyed Genoa Kingston Cogs. And then Kaya Hill of Lay Win. The boys field, Genoa Kingston, 3 athletes: Gabriel Pena, Peter Hernandez Villalobos, and Gavin De La Isla. For North Boone, Nicholas Schnupp, Simon Anderson, and Oscar Balsley. And then 3 athletes for Winnebago: Sam Kopp, I believe it is, a senior, Alexander Wyant, and then Hudson Pope. How long does it take people to run 2 miles? Well, you don't want to know how long it would take me. But I think these athletes will do it in about, let's say, about an average of 15 minutes. Some will be much faster. Some might be a little slower. Frame of reference here, Gabriel Pena of Genoa Kingston. His time coming in, 11 minutes and 20 seconds. I think I'd be lucky to make 1 mile in that time these days. But, oh, to be young again. All right. Just about set to get started here. This is the 2-mile run. Not sure what our delay is. A meeting of the minds. There's Andy. I think we're getting ready to do this. Calling out some signals, some final commands. Is our starter. And away we go. I've never done a track meet, folks. I'm going to be honest with you. I have years and years of basketball and football, baseball, softball, and I wasn't sure, kind of how it works. You don't do it like the old horse races, right? I kind of remember growing up, and my grandparents would listen to this artist named Spike Jones, and one of my favorites was Beetlebomb, who doing the horse races. Kind of a mockery, Spike Jones and the City Slickers. So I'm going to let the athletes speak for themselves here as we begin this 2-mile run. Might want to watch the high jump there out at center court there to the upper right of your screen. And I'll tell you what, I'm actually going to put the headset down for a while. See if I can check in on some of the meet results. And we'll talk soon. All right, if you just joined us, we are in the middle of the 2-mile run. A field of 9 gentlemen, 4 ladies. I do have some results for you. The women's 4x800 meter relay in 4th place with a time of 11 minutes and 59 seconds, Winnebago. Lei Win, just a couple of seconds Came in just a couple of seconds before Winnebago. This is the Lewin B team. 11 minutes and 56 seconds. In second place, from Genoa Kingston, Garcia, Abney, McDowell, and Zapatka with a time of 11 minutes and 38 seconds. And coming in first with a time of 11 minutes and 15 seconds, 15.8 seconds to be exact, Lena Winslow, Lila Grindy, Lila Gerber, Cassidy Doherty, and Addison Piper. That's all we have as far as official meet results so far. We're getting set up, by the way, at least in lanes 5, 6, 7, for the 55-meter hurdles. If you're wondering when to tune in, after this 2-mile run, we've got the 55-meter hurdles, then the 55-meter dash. That's our indoor sprint, right? Lots of people in the field, and we'll try to mention everybody's name and what lane and heat they're in, obviously, as we continue the broadcast. But then the 800-meter run, the 800-meter relay, of course, the 4x2, the 400-meter dash, the mile, the 200-meter dash, and then my personal favorite, a lot of people's favorite, the 1,600-meter relay, the 4x400, if you will. So that's our order of events. Pretty standard, right? Standard operating procedure. There is a lot of data entry that goes in to uploading the results onto athletic.net. So we'll try to get you those as we're able. If you're joining us actively or passively, I'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the chat where you're listening from. Logan, that was a Byron athlete, was excited that we were live streaming the meet. And then we heard from Mr. Gable out there in Lena. Spent a lot of time in Lena growing up. My grandparents lived there. Dale, I don't know if you're still listening, or anybody from Lena for that matter, but my grandparents lived right in town next to the railroad tracks. And we could walk up into the town, and at the time, there was a cannon. And I don't know what war it was from, but back when I was a little boy in the 80s, you could climb around on that thing, and you could turn the crank, and you could make the cannon point in different directions. I mean, the only thing you couldn't do, of course, was fire the darn thing, which was probably for good reason, right? And then I went back many, many years later, and I think the cannon was still there, but I think it was pretty much locked down. My dad used to tell me, I don't know if this is true, I think he painted the Lena water tower once back in the 60s. Of course, that water tower in Lena predates that by a long margin. But back in high school, or maybe his college years, my dad said he went down to Lena and painted that doggone water tower. It's a beautiful site, by the way, one of the great historical sites in Lena. Anyway, if you're joining us from Lena, a great town, and we're glad to have you along. Hey, Dawn's checking in from Missouri. I knew a couple of boys growing up from Missouri. One of them pronounced it Missouri, but one of the boys, I can't remember what town he was from. Oh, no, not Missouri, Missouri. And Dawn says, listening in from Lampe, Missouri. Oh, man, the grueling 2-mile run. Starter down there doing his best to remind people of how many laps they have left. I believe those are our leaders from Winnebago there, that trio. Sam Kopp, Alexander Wyant, and Hudson Pope in good form here. Dawn, we're glad to have you listening from Missouri or Missouri, whichever your household prefers. That's the neat thing about these live broadcasts. Our goal wasn't to get thousands of people streaming. It's given people an opportunity to watch the people they care about do something that they wouldn't have been able to see in person, right? Oh, Lauren Gura listening in and says, go Lucy. Lucy, one of our great up-and-coming track athletes, basketball player, and a swimmer as well. Lauren, glad to have you along. Dale, let me see. Cannon and Lena is gone now. That is sad. Dale, that is sad. That was one of my favorite things as a kid, is tell Grandma and Grandpa I was going uptown to play on the Cannon. And it's gone now. I wonder where that went. Melted down into razor blades, maybe. I don't know. But he says we have a fighter jet near the water tower now. Glad to see that Dale is still listening in and watching from Lena. Yeah, I love Lena. Dale, here's another thing. I'm not just having a conversation between me and Dale, but I also remember there was a restaurant that we would go to. I think it was called Beaches. Of course, there's Leaquina State Park, right? But somewhere north of town there was a restaurant my grandparents would take us to. And then I thought I read somewhere that restaurant was closing. Anyway. Yeah, and Dawn says watching her nephew. It is cool, isn't it, Dawn? Again, it was never about getting the thousands and thousands of viewers. Maybe someday, but that's not the goal. The goal is to give dads and aunts and uncles and grandparents and friends an opportunity to support their athletes from afar. So I'm glad it's working. I'm glad it's a success so far. Dale, I'm just reminiscing as I sit here. Used to be an old furniture store in town. I don't know if that's there. I haven't been back. I was in Lena last year, actually, for an outdoor track meet, but really just went to the high school. Of course, Lena has had some notoriety recently with some really outstanding teams, including on the gridiron. And I'm an Iowa Hawkeyes football fan. Truly, I'm just a Big Ten fan, but I try to make it out to Iowa each season. And I think there's going to be some pretty decent offensive linemen. In fact, I saw one of them here last year. I don't know if he's here potentially watching his younger brother who's still in high school by the name of Dunker, right? So, of course, everybody in Byron is rooting for Tyler Ellsbury, who had a strong career with the Iowa Hawkeyes. In fact, I saw Els and Mr. Dunker here together last year. And I wonder if those two gentlemen have some other things on their mind right about now. We digress. Getting set up for the hurdles. This will be a little bit of a challenge, right? Because you got that baseball cage, right kind of in the middle of your picture. It is what it is. But we'll kick things off here with the 55-meter hurdles, the girls, and then on to the boys and so forth. Oh, Brooke, I tell you what, cheering on Coach McMullen. Brooke, it's awesome to hear from you, by the way. This is Brooke Holloway cheering on Coach McMullen. I don't know if you caught the shout out earlier, Brooke, but we love you guys around here. And the Cardinals at home with my newborn. Thanks for streaming. Brooke, it's awesome to hear from you. And a huge Byron Tiger congratulations to you. We love Brooke and Coach McMullen. Coach McMullen. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, we heard that for many, many years with Matt's dad, Scott, who we all love around here as well. All right, 55-meter dash. Oh, excuse me, 55-meter hurdles. That was Mr. Walters calling out the first call for the 55-meter dash. All right, we've got 3 heats. And in heat 1, a freshman from Lena is Nola Milam. 3 Vikings of North Boone, Julia Rudy in lane 2, Amelie Sermakova in lane 3, Isabel Stolquist in lane 4, and then also Soraya Rochan out of Lee Win, and then Ara Martin in lane 6, representing the Tigers of Byron. Our camera operator's here now, and we'll do our best. Again, it's going to be a little bit hard to see lane 6. Actually, to be honest with you, it's lane 5 that's maybe going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Well, if our camera operator can, make a little heads or tails of that. There he goes, adjusting the picture. Jace Jackson in the chat as well. You can see him down there on the far south side of the PE Center at the starting line, this straightaway. 55-meter hurdles. Again, Milam in lane 1, Rudy lane 2, Sermakova in lane 3, Stolquist in lane 4, Rochan in lane 5, and Ara Martin for the Tigers in lane 6. This will be over in a flash. And I will say, you always do hold your breath a little bit with the hurdles, especially early in the season. It is not easy. There's not a whole lot of room down there, and things can get packed in pretty tightly. And we hope not to see it, but every now and then somebody takes a little spill. So And you know what? I made a mistake. I made my, I don't want to say first mistake of the day. Hopefully it's my only. But that was the 55-meter dash that I was mentioning. And excuse me, this is Bailey Ramey, Avery Brule, Dionysia Cantu Ramos, Mackenzie Lamb, Kea Bonavolanta, and Bridget Hoffman, and away they go. My mistake, I mentioned the 55-meter dash participants. Brule in second for Winnebago, and I think that was a Stillman Valley Cardinal with the win. I'm not sure if that was Dionysia or Mackenzie, but that one heat of the girls' 55-meter hurdles is done, like I said, in the blink of an eye. Here's the boys. Big Hunter Haas, the senior for Byron, will be hurdling. He'll be in lane 1. Elton Lynn from GK in lane 2. Drew Intravia in lane 3, Winnebago. Tyler Kenyon, Stillman Valley. Kenyon. You know, if you stick around long enough, you start hearing some of the same names, and it wasn't long ago, really, that names like Winterland and Kenyon for the older generation were playing basketball and running track and whatever else. Football. Saw B-Dub the other night, actually, down at a basketball tournament where his daughter plays, I believe, for AFC. Anywho, Mike Lyons in lane 5 and Reagan Korst in lane 6. This is the boys' 55-meter hurdles. And then you move the hurdles a little bit, move them up. High drama as our camera operator panned over to over to the high jump there. All right, starter has them down there. Here we go. 55-meter hurdles, boys. Heat 1 of 1. There they go. It's either going to be Haas or Korst. I think Korst might have taken it there in that 6th lane, and nothing prophetic about what I said, but you always are expecting to see a little bit of drama with these hurdles, especially early in the season. And a couple of the men did clip the hurdle. Nothing terribly dramatic down there. But anyway, that's all she wrote for the 55-meter hurdles. Each group with one and only one heat. So now it's time for the girls' 55-meter dash. There will be 3 heats for the girls. Hard to see down there, but they're kind of orchestrating the starts. Again, Lena Winslow's Nola Milam in lane 1. Poplar Grove North Moon, 3 student athletes in the field. Julia Rudy, Amelie Sermakova, and Isabel Stolquist. I believe that's Byron's Evan Northrup down there. At the high jump, you could hear him clapping for him just a moment ago. Soraya Rochan for lane win in lane 5. And then to the left of your screen in just a moment will be Byron's Aura Martin. I believe not in the field today will be Byron's Malia Morton, who only recently finished up her basketball season and is down there. I saw her, but I'm not sure she's running today, but we look forward to having her back on the track when she's ready. But we do have a couple of other Byron athletes. We'll mention them in Heat 2 and Heat 3. Meanwhile, this will be Heat 1 of 3, girls 55-meter dash. Again, check in with us in the chat. We'd love to hear where you're listening from and if you have any shout outs. Just awaiting the starter. Ooh, we've got some results for the women's shot. A field of 34 student athletes. And I'll mention the top 6. Genoa Kingston's Emily Spence in 6th place with a throw of 8.21 meters. There they go, by the way. We'll get to the shot results here in just a minute. Lane 3 takes it. North Boone's Amelie Sermakova winning heat number 1. Heat 2, Byron's Amaya Gallegos in lane 1. You'll see her to the right side of your screen in just a moment. Abigail Dennis in in the second lane, lane 2, Stillman Valley. Peyton Shaw in lane 3. Nakaya Shields in lane 4, both athletes from Winnebago. Sky Gavich in lane 5 and Nakaya Pickard in lane 6. All right, Emily Spence, 6th place in the shot. Rihanna Pettinger out of Lay Win, 5th. Olivia Bagg in 4th place. Our top 3 competitors in the shot from Genoa Kingston with a throw of 8.58. Reagan Creighton. 2nd place, Winnebago's Carson Palmer, 9.18 meters. That's 30 feet. 30 feet and 1.5 inches, by the way. And taking the championship by like 2 inches with a throw of 30 feet and 3.75 inches. A freshman from Lay Win, Marley McPeak. Meanwhile, Heat 2 of 3. Great job in lane 1. Byron's own Amaya Gallegos takes the heat. A freshman, by the way. You could see a lot of up-and-coming athletes for Byron Track and Field middle school last year, both on the boys and the girls side. All right, this will be Heat 3. We got Maddie Fritzie in lane 1, a sophomore from Byron. 3 GK athletes, Presley Meyer, Jesse Fredrickson, and Haley Oranger in lanes 2, 3, and 4. Out of Stillman Valley, it's Caitlin Stott in lane 5, and then Ava Shoemate out of Winnebago in lane 6. There's Fritzie. I'm not operating the camera anymore. I turned it over to one of our Byron students. So I get to just kind of sit and watch as one of our Byron students is taking over operating the camera. There you can see Fritzie in lane 1. She's ready to go. Fritzie comes in with a time in this 55-meter dash of 8.7. Very tough field, though. The time to beat is Jessie Fredrickson in lane 3. Watch for her there. She's got the lead and will take the heat. A freshman out of Genoa Kingston came in with a time of 7.7 and may have bested that just now here in Byron. So those are the 3 heats for the girls' 55-meter dash. Let's meet the competitors now for the boys. There will also be 3 heats. 1 Byron athlete in this opening heat. But listen for Bradley Dahl in lane 1 out of Poplar Grove, North Boone. Another Viking out of North Boone in lane 2. That's William Tillery. Winnebago's Braden Robinson in lane 3. Hudson Raiders of Lay-Win in lane 4. Xander Lindquist in lane 5. And then Caden Olson out of North Boone in lane 6. So Xander Lindquist, the lone Tiger competitor here in this opening heat. Lindquist in lane 5. You'll see him run through that baseball hitting cage momentarily. Boy, just below me is a whole host of people here watching their athletes. And I tell you, these guys are going to be so fast, they better watch out down there. Here we go. Looks like lane 6. North Boone. Oh, lane 1 there. Bookends. Dahl in lane 1 and Olson for North Boone in lane 6. Xander Lindquist again in lane 5 there for the Tigers. Lone Byron competitor in that heat. 2 Byron competitors here in heat 2. Let's meet the field. Lane 1 out of Stillman Valley. It's Lucas Lassard. Tyler Druin, the junior from Byron in lane 2. Cooper Larson out of Winnebago in lane 3. Dylan Dock, a freshman out of Byron in lane 4. And then Jack Halbrighter and Richard Trado in lanes 5 and 6, respectively, for Stillman Valley. Heat 2 of 2, boys 55-meter dash. Druin in lane 2 for Byron and Dock in lane 4. Speaking of generational names, Dock, grandfather, Adam Dock. And his mom's listening in, saying, hey, what about me, Amber? You too. But Dylan Dock, the freshman, one of those generational names, if you will, in Byron. All right, this is heat 2 of 3, boys 55-meter dash. There they go. Tell you what, Doc in second there. Taking the heat, though, was Cooper Larson out of Winnebago. Yeah, that's about true to expectations. Cooper Larson, also a freshman, by the way, came in at a time of 7.6. Doc at 7.8, and it did look like Larson nudged him by, just a few tenths of a second there in heat number 2. All right, heat 3. Lane 1, Adrian Delgado of GK mostly juniors and seniors with a couple of sophomores here in this final heat. Lane-Win's Jalen Rakowska, lane 2. Alex Schlichting out of Lane-Win. Looks like the time to beat, at least coming in lane 3. GK's Brandon Wolcott in lane 4, along with Genoa Kingston's Michael Schmidt in lane 5. And then Winnebago's Adam Weber, in lane 6. But at least on paper, the time to beat, Alex Schlichting in lane 3. Let's see if that's how things play out. Final heat of this 55-meter dash, and then that 800-meter run coming up next. None of this is easy, but those 800s, whew, that middle distance, it's such a nuanced event. Here they go. It's going to be pretty tight. Hard to call, but I think it was lane 2. I believe it was Jalen Rakowska. There you go. Had the benefit of being in that inside lane, right? Which, of course, on the straightaway means nothing, but a little bit more room with which to run across that curve. Maybe was able to open it out there and take the heat and likely the meet. Got some results for the girls' triple jump. Seventh place, Lessman from Lane-Win. Edler in 6th place, also from Lane-Win. And 5th place, Peyton Murphy from Lane-Win with the jump on the triple jump of 7.86 meters. Aliyah Kraut of North Boone in 4th place. Also out of Lane-Win, Mia Defenderfer, a jump of 9.04. Hey, I know this kid. In 2nd place with a jump of 9.12 meters out of Byron, Mason Burris, sophomore, PR'd today with a jump of 29 feet, 11.25 inches. And then taking meet champion today out of Genoa Kingston, a senior, with a jump of 9.5 meters. That's 31 feet, 2 inches if you're interested. Congratulations, Genoa Kingston's Addison Vicari. All right, this is the 800-meter run. Oh, boy. This is a doozy, baby. This is tough. Listen for these names, of course, in no particular starting assignment, but Molly Webb of Winnebago. She's got a time listed here at 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Molly, a freshman. As we can see our camera operator zooming in on some of our competitors. Emma James of Genoa Kingston. Jordan Calhoun. Jocelyn Abney. Anna Bogner and Peyton Murphy. Jordan Hargrave. Gabby Northrup is down there, junior for the Tigers. Avery Kopp. Emma Ferranchi for Byron. Kylie Blazer of North Boone. And then Addison Helms, Addie Helms. The 3 Tiger athletes. You can see them kind of doubled up there in the lanes as we get started. This is the girls' 800-meter run. Girls kind of doubled up there in their respective lanes. Left side of your screen, you can see Addie Helms, the Tiger freshman. See Emma Ferranchi out there in lane 3 next to a GK runner. And then Gabby Northrup is in lane 5, it looks like. All right, the starter has him. This is the girls' 800-meter run. Oh, I'm glad to have a camera guy now. There you go. See him going on that far straightaway. I think that's Molly down there in the lead. We'll see if we can make heads or tails who's where here as they come around that far curve. I believe that's the athlete from North Boone in the lead. I believe that's Kylie Blazer, a senior. Molly working her down in that far curve. Let's see how things go. I believe the Winnebago athlete now is taking the lead. 4 laps total. This is the second of 4. Here they come. Winnebago 1, 2. There's Emma Ferranchi pacing the Tigers. Gabby Northrup not far behind. And the freshman Addie Helms will come into your picture here in just a moment. All right, this is the third of 4 laps for these athletes. Again, Winnebago 1 and 2. Genoa Kingston sitting third. And there goes Emma Ferranchi, sitting in 4th place now, entering the 4th and final lap. And the rest of the field crossing the finish line as we speak, but not before a final lap. All right, here come the leaders across that far turn. It's going to be a battle. The 2 Winnebago athletes fighting. I mean, it's neck and neck. Winnebago 1 and 2. Genoa Kingston in 3rd place. Emma Ferranchi is going to take 4th for the Tigers. Steve Stewart passing out numbers, by the way, as people come in. Nothing fancy, right? Just a little index card. There goes Gabby Northrup, Winnebago, Lay Win, Genoa Kingston. Stillman Valley, GK. And here comes Addie Helms. My goodness, a grueling race, right? 800 meters. And kind of to illustrate my point, North Boone leading early, coming across the finish line. To finish up the 800. All right, here's the boys' field. This is the 800, and speaking of these great Winnebago distance runners, Byron's going to have a great distance runner of their own in Tim Starwalt. Dylan Springer, though, not a distance runner, football player in the fall, but quick. And 2 athletes that kind of have come to the track season, you know, in different ways, right? One on the football field, one in cross country. But they'll battle it out and will set the pace here in the boys' 800. Aiden Vasquez from Winnebago. Braden Dietrich, by the way, no slouch, right? Understatement. I mean, a fantastic cross-country athlete, Dietrich. Joe Erb Jr. for Winnebago. Gabriel Pena, Peter Hernandez Villalobos, CJ Rich, Noah Kepner, Noah Anderson, and Roran Schultz rounding out our field for the boys. Once the starter gets them situated, this will be the boys. Now, I lost my camera operator, and I'm not as good as he is, I'm going to tell you. But I'm going to do my best to follow this 800 as the gentlemen go around the track. Tim Starwalt there for Byron. Dylan Springer. And there's Mr. Dietrich standing in lane 2. All right, it looks like the starter is almost satisfied. He's got people aligned. This is heat 1 of 1, the boys 800 meter. Always a lot of nervous energy. Not to say that the gentlemen are nervous, but just have that energy of anticipation, right? As these athletes get set to go. It's all in the hands of the starter. And then we'll watch them begin and go about their business in this boys 800. Here we go. They are allowing spikes on the track as this surface will be torn up sometime in the near future. But Steve Walters, our PA voice today, reminding everyone, please, not on the basketball courts. All right, Tim Starwalt in the lead, pursued by 2 Winnebago athletes. Springer in the mix as well in that first group. Number 4 laps. Tim Starwalt of Byron continues to set the pace. Springer and Dietrich there in that first group. Dietrich, another cross-country athlete along with Tim Starwalt. And they'll be lapping some competitors here in just a moment. Here comes Starwalt. Let's see if he opens things up. Gotta contend with some of these slower runners. Not calling them slow by any means. Respectively slower, right? I think that's fair. Needless to say, they're a lot faster than I would be out there. But Tim Starwalt lapping several athletes, and here he comes. It looks like it's going to be Starwalt to pace the field. There he is. And he's happy with the results. Springer in third, Dietrich in fourth. Here come the Winnebago athletes. There's Erb. That was a fast field today, ladies and gentlemen. Still some competitors out there. But the leaders in this boys 800 are in. Up next will be the 800-meter relay. Again, each athlete running a 200. They're staging left side of your screen. Should be able to see them coming into your picture. Looks like there will be 2 heats today. North Boone in lane 1, Freya Perchel, Vanessa Toledo, Aliyah Kraut, I believe it is, and Isabel Stahlquist. Genoa Kingston's Alexa Ayala, May Walczyk, Kesley Breda, and Carson Bade. Winnebago's Ida Fager, Avery Brule, Nora Britt, and Peyton Shaw. Also for Winnebago, and by the way, both of these Winnebago teams listed at 205. Audra Meekum, Mason Meekum, Brooke Clairbutt, and Bella Williams. For Stillman Valley, it's Caitlin Stott, Maya Kays, Jesse Hageman, and Lily Martinovich. Lane 6 for Poplar Grove North Boone as they'll bookend the field in lanes 1 and 6. The Vikings, Amelie Sermakova, Kylie Carpenter, Alexandra Cook, and Julia Rudy. And I can tell you that the second heat is going to be fast. Byron ran a 155.87 recently here in Byron. But the time to beat, I saw this reported recently online. This Genoa Kingston team of Fredrickson, Oranger, Meyer, and of course Natasha Bianchi, at least on paper, they are the team to beat, coming in at 151.47, just a couple of seconds off a state qualifying time. Meanwhile, heat number 1 of 2, this is the girls 4x200. Not necessarily the case, but potentially some more inexperienced runners, right, in this opening heat. So starter calling out some instructions, coaching athletes on some of the subtle nuances, right, and rules of this 800-meter relay. Oh, there's Matt McMullen. Love it. Giving some encouragement to his runners. There's Brule for Winnebago. Strong athlete, great basketball player. Genoa Kingston and North Boone. I said bookends, right? So they got lane 1. I didn't mention them a moment ago, but there you go, standing in lane 6. The Vikings bookends. All right, Mr. Starter. Where's he going to stand? All right, we're underway. This is heat 1 of 2. Girls 4x200 meter run. Each student athlete running 1 lap. It's like Winnebago in lanes 3 and 4 pacing the field. There they go. A little bit of the nuance, right, of this relay. Trying to align yourself for the handoff depending on position. Faster teams on the inside, as you can see. The handoff for Winnebago, a little bit of a challenge there in the handoff. It goes quickly, but there they go. Yep, there's Winnebago getting herself in that inside lane. 2 Winnebago teams, right? And a tough handoff for that inside group there for Bago, allowing that second Winnebago team to take the lead. Here comes Stillman, GK, and North Boone. I believe that's the Winnebago B team. And again, we said they both came in at a time of 2:05. So Winnebago 1-2. Genoa Kingston in this heat, 3rd. Stillman 4th. And North Boone in positions 5 and 6. All right. Heat 2 of 2. Lane 1 out of Lena Winslow, Allie Oxley, Evelyn Gable. Dale, I think that might be yours, right? You were listening in earlier. Good luck to you. I've got one in the race as well. Sophie Johnston and Sandra Martins. Lane 2, Stillman Valley's Alexandria Hoff, Sandra Broderson, Emiliana Jimenez, and then Mackenzie Lamb. GK, this is the time to beat, by the way. GK's Jesse Fredrickson, Haley Oranger, Presley Meyer, and Natasha Bianchi. Byron will have 2 teams. The A group, well, they're calling this the B group, but it's Skylar Palmgren, Lucy Gura, that aforementioned freshman with mom listening in. Fox, are you watching too, bud? Lucy's getting ready to cook. Nev Schilling, the senior, and Mason Burris. Dale, that's mine. She'll be anchoring our Byron relay. Lee wins. Hannah Pecora. No, I think I got that wrong. Let me try this again. Hannah Pecorara. Dale, you can put it in the chat how I'm doing with that. I'm doing my best. Maya Defenderfer, Sienna Hastings, and Adeline Anderson. And then a very fast second Byron group, including Elena Brandt, who we just got back from basketball season. Amaya Gallegos, who won her heat earlier in the 55. Kaylee Coyne, the high jumper. And Maddie Fritz, who was also in that 55. So this is going to be quick. Thank you. Thanks, Dale. Pecoraro. I'm doing my best. I am so glad, actually, that we get to do this and we get to announce all of these great athletes that work so hard. All right, Byron in lanes 4 and 6. Skylar Palmgren there with her coach behind. There they go. Elena Brandt in that far lane 6. Genoa Kingston, the time to beat at 1:51, but hanging out in lane 3 for their handoff. Stillman Valley among the first to hand off, and there goes Skylar Palmgren to the freshman Lucy Gura. These handoffs so difficult and challenging. It's not just about speed. There's the nuance of handing off the baton. GK and Stillman. Lucy Gura to Nev Schilling to pace the two Tiger teams, but not far behind Kaylee Coyne. And then Lena Winslow. Dale, that's for you. And other fans of the Leywin Panthers, right? GK pacing the field. Neff Schilling now is taken over in second. She'll hand it off to Burris. GK to Bianchi. Handoff to Burris. A little bit of an awkward handoff there. Lena Winslow in second. Byron in third. Here comes Bianchi. Byron holding on for third. Crossing the finish line in third goes Stillman, and then Byron's team in fourth. Maddie Fritz. And then Leywin. Take the camera off Fritzy as she collects herself. Again, these student athletes giving it their absolute all. And a round of applause for our field. All right. Goodwill to all athletes, right? Girls 4x2. All right, this is the boys 4x2. Poplar Grove North Boone in lane 1 of this opening heat. It's Manuel De La Luz Misik, Scout Etner, Array Yergin, and Luciano Pacheco. How do you like that, Dale? That made it Pecoraro a walk in the park, I think, right? Genoa Kingston's Kenneth Combs, Christopher Rodas Munoz, Elton Lynn, and Liam Kenzie. Genoa Kingston with the second team in the field here, Brandon Wolcott, Adrian Delgado, Chase Kaufman, and Michael Schmidt. Stillman Valley's Nikolai Vasquez, Joseph Scott, Hudson Pollock, Kelvin Gable. And then in lane 5, it's Bradley Dahl, Connor Chamberlain, Isaac McMaster, and Reagan Korst. Here's our field staging themselves, getting ready for this first heat of 2, the boys 4x200. Boys high jump. A field of 6 today was Combs from GK.